So I thought I'd come out to the shack today. We're supposedly just taking in alcohol and maybe a bit of sap, but I thought I'd show you in here first of all what's going to happen here. I wanted to show you the evaporator and the channels in the evaporator. So I'm going to go up this little stairway here, and you can see down in here there are 4 channels, and the sap will come in from one of these valves, and it will just meander, go from side to side. So I'll show you. When you see a thermometer, and this is again a maple syrup thermometer, when you see the thermometer, that's when you know that's the side that the sap will become syrup. So I'll just take this out. This has a long probe. Probe goes in here. This would be filled with, again, this would be filled with sap. And because it's at this side, this is where the sap is going to become syrup. Now, if you take a look at that thermometer, it has 0 on it, and then it has 7, and then it has little numbers after 7, up to all the way to 20. So 7 is the number that a maple syrup maker wants. 0 represents 212 Fahrenheit. 0 represents boiling. And sap becomes syrup at 7 degrees over 0, over 212. So that's why 7 is there. So I know that when this dial comes up to 7, I know that this one of 4 channels, this closest channel, is going to be maple syrup. So if I were to open this, which is open at the moment, if I were to open this, I'd watch the dial, and it would, I know that I'm going to get syrup, and all of a sudden, when it's not syrup anymore, the dial will go underneath 7, which means that that's not syrup. I want syrup. So what we do is, and I'd only get a quarter of a bucket maybe from that one channel. So what we do is we wait until it gets to maybe 8 or 8.5, and that means that the first channel will be syrup, a little bit over. The next channel will be not 8.5, it might be 7.5. And then I watch the dial go down, and as soon as the dial gets to 7, I turn this off, and I will always have a bucket. And again, that's what you want. You want a bucket of syrup to take over to get ready for the filter. So again, that's the important number, is 7. If I take it off at 7, I just get a quarter of a bucket. So I wait until it's a bit higher, and I really have to watch the needle. I take a look at the needle. That's very important, because if the needle goes below 7, that means I'm taking in into the bucket, I'm taking sap and not syrup, and then I'd have to finish it in another spot. So that's basically what we take a look at for that. All right, that's the thermometer. If we go around the other side, oh, I see that we have this is called a finishing pail. So if I take it off and we have to do something with it, we put it in the finishing pail. This is the side, because remember, it's the side that doesn't have the thermometer. This is the side that the sap will come into. So this would be open. This float would register, and it says, okay, I don't need any more sap, stops. When this boils off, and we'll show you a big fire later on, I'll tell you, when that boils off, this float will say, hey, I need more sap, and it will open and sap will come in. So, okay. Big stack. This later on I'll show you, that's a waterfall. The objective is to make the sap as hot as possible and to take as much water out as possible before it gets into the evaporator. Again, you can hear this. Oh, got stuck there. You can hear the pump going. I'm not sure what's coming in. I'll take a look at the lines with you. Sometimes you can see, well, when it's really coming in, you can see sap coming in, but I don't see any at the moment. Okay, so good. Still working. Around the corner, by the way, this is it's already set up. It looks like he's got a little electric charge to it, and this is connected to the tank outside. So when this gets full or whatever, we need more sap, we shoot it up top here, and it goes into that tank. And I think I showed you a couple days ago that tank, and then we hook the wire up, or the blue hose. But in order, I have to go up there with the ladder, obviously. I have to go up there and check. And if we ever run out of sap, that's not good, because the fire's still burning, and it will burn, it'll scald the bottom, and that's our season over. So I run up here maybe every, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. I make sure that there's enough sap in there to go into the machine. And if I don't have it enough, what I do, there's an outlet there. This is going to go up here. We haven't got the black tubing, but it will go up top, and it will fill up the that bucket up top. And then we will have this down here connected, and sap comes in. So that's a bit. Oh, this is what I also look at. I don't want to keep on opening the fire door all the time. So this shows the internal temperature. I sort of make sure that it's 650 or so, and if it gets down, goes into 5, whatever, I keep on adding. I like to have a constant temperature of 650, 700. I come around, I look at it, I see everything's fine, I don't open the door. If it needs some wood, I notice that dial is down, then I will go the other side, fill up the wood, fill up in the furnace, and close it up again, and watch that dial. Okay. So again, we have 900 taps. I'm going to go for a little walk, and I'll explain a couple of things. We have 900 taps. It takes 2.5 days or 2 days to go around each tree, and each tree basically, unless it's a huge tree, will have one spile in it, one tap in it. And what we'd like to get is, we would like to get 1.5 liters to 2 liters per spile. All right, per tap. It basically means per tree. As you can see, this is just one. All right, because it's the smallest tree. That's what we've decided. You can see a couple bubbles in there. That would mean that something's happening, as in there's sap coming out. Now, that pump that you hear, we are not drawing sap out of the tree. The tree is dripping, just like if you had a pail, it would drip. We do not suck the sap out of the tree. What we do, the pump facilitates getting the sap, and it is sap, into the shack. We don't have draw horses and 10 people to help us with things. We use these wires, we use these plastic piping, and that's how we get it into the shack. So again, what nature gives us, that's great. So at the moment, oh, there's some other, you can see another drip going there, my hand, perhaps, hopefully. So again, that, I think that will be sap. And I'm not sure how much is in that tank. Again, as I said, 250 gallons. If we get 250 gallons in that tank, that would mean we have alcohol plus sap. And we would dump it, and then the next day, next time that we the next time we have a tank full, we will be boiling, because that will be sap. So again, 4 types of maple syrup that we're going to be making: clear, medium, dark, and very dark. Funny thing about that is they all have the same sugar content. Just because it's darker doesn't mean it has more sugar. It's all the same. So I'm out here also trying to listen for little sounds. Sounds that I would hear would be probably air, and that would be air escaping from a connection that's not a good one. So don't want to hear that, but again, I do want to hear it because we want as much pounds per pressure in that pump as we can get, so we can get all the sap into the cabane, the sugar cabin. So the snow level is very interesting. I recall one year that we had to use snowshoes. The snow was so high, so deep, we had to use snowshoes to get through, or we would just break down and we couldn't walk. And the difficult thing about that was, you can see where this spile is. There's no snow. The spile is right here. But because there was 3-4 feet of snow, we ended up putting the spile away up there because that was the level we could reach. After the season ended, when we went to try and get the spiles, we couldn't reach them. We had to use a stepladder to try and get up. So that certainly isn't happening this year. And I would say we're about 10 days to 2 weeks early. Never tapped this early. And we'll see. Again, the tap holes have a longevity. You know, when you scrape your arm and what happens is you get a scar over it after it heals. Well, it's the same when we put a hole into the tree. We're causing it grief, if you would like. And what happens is that after a certain time, that hole will heal. And if it heals, that means that there's no more sap coming out. So we have to really time this well. If you tap too early, I mean, you'll get nice clear stuff, which is has a hint of maple syrup, of maple flavor, but you risk having the taps seal. And if they seal, you won't get any more sap. So you won't get the dark or the very dark. So as I say, the owner of the property has to be very aware of the temperatures, and also maybe make some decisions as in, okay, I'm going to tap this time. I won't get this grade, but I'll tap later. I'll get this grade. So that's where we are basically at the moment. This is, again, 10 days, 2 weeks earlier than we've ever tapped before. I have to ask, at least that I've ever tapped here. So we'll see what's up. But again, very pretty. Now's the time to come out to actually a bit early, in 2 weeks, when you see the birds coming back. We've got pileated woodpeckers out here. You might hear a rose-breasted grosbeak. A couple of years ago we heard hooting, and we had great horned owls. But now's the time to come out and look, because there are no leaves. All the birds that come back, they're very visible because of they're vulnerable, if you would like. I just heard actually I think it may be a pileated with that big loud cackle, but they're pretty secretive. It probably flew off. Where I'm going, by the way, is we have a tank in the sugar cabin, if you like, the sugar shack, and that's 500 gallons. So that's all the lines up top. Where we're going now is we're going to go down to the bottom section. All these that you see out here, all these trees are going to go into a different tank, and it's actually a bigger tank. It's a tank that has 600 gallons. And what we have to do when this tank fills up, you can see those big lines in front of us, the black line and an orange line. What we do is we have to pump it over. And as I say, it's 600, it's more than the other, so we have to make sure that we don't overfill the tank in the shack, because if we do, it spills, and we do not want spillage. So if you can see down there, that's the tank, and all the lines, all the trees out here are connected, and we have to go down and manually, you put a pump on there, gas pump, pump it up, get it ready, and off it goes up to the top part where it's processed. But it's pretty cool. It's, you know, it's pretty exciting. This is a neat way to pass the end of February and all of March. I have a fishing site. Alfred and I have a fishing site. We're waiting obviously for fishing season, but this is pretty cool. Coming out and doing this. We've done this for the last 15 years, I think, maybe. Coming out in March and doing this, and it's very rewarding. Again, what nature can give. And then she says, okay, no more. Sap's a different sap. Budding sap, and maple season is over. But so it happens very quickly. It's pretty busy. Some nights, some days it's 12 hours because we don't want to have any sap left over. Basically, we like to start fresh the next day. So anyway.